係greetings folks，咁歡迎大家嚟到今晚嘅呢個歡迎嚟到今晚嘅呢個睡眠導入朗讀時間啦。咁就都係一個唔係話算係咁常開台嘅時間啦。咁就各位晚啦。咁咧就好似大家喺呢個 thumbnail 度見到咁樣啦，就今日咧就會讀呢個阿依路嘅神謠集嘅。咁咧呢個神謠集咧就主要就係圍繞住呢個阿依路嘅一啲神啦。咁就對於一啲可能呢個唔係太熟阿依路即係神話嘅人咧，就稍微做一個超級簡單嘅介紹啦。咁就喺呢個阿依路人嘅信仰入面咧，就呢個可以話基本上世間萬物都係有呢個神明喺度嘅。咁咧而呢個動物咧就係一個係神，係啲神明落嚟玩嘅時候嘅一個偽裝啦。咁當啲阿依路人去捕獵呢啲點講好咧神明嘅時候咧，就會就要之後要再獻翻祭去俾翻個神啦。咁就以示即係可以再歡迎翻呢個神過嚟玩啦，就唔好令到同埋亦都同時令到啲阿依路人就唔好就因為饑荒就餓死啦。咁大概就係一個咁樣嘅背景啦。咁神謠集咧就基本上係有幾個故仔嘅。咁就例如有狐狸神唱嘅故仔啦，有狼神唱嘅故仔啦，亦都當然亦都係最重要嘅係有青蛙唱嘅歌啦。咁所以咧基本上因為佢每一篇個篇幅都唔同啦，咁就所以就應該會可能讀2-3篇左右。因為準備讀嗰篇即係呢個貓頭鷹神讀嘅呢個神謠咧，其實都本身都已經幾長噶啦。咁就係啦，咁就睇下情況啦。總之應該唔會開1個鐘頭嘅。咁就今日就以住呢個貓耳王之山嘅樣咧，就同大家讀呢個神謠啦。咁如果呢個 BGM 太大聲啊，或者想再調校嘅話咧，就同我講一講，咁我就再稍微調整下先。咁嘅我哋而家要開始讀啦，咁就呢個稍微較細聲少少。係，咁就就俾到一陣。係好啦，咁咧今日呢個就係我哋嘅第一篇神謠咧，亦都係應該係阿依路神謠入面比較出名嘅一首神謠啦。咁就就好似頭先咁講，係關於呢個貓頭鷹神自甲卡梅嘅自己嘅一個角度去唱嘅講嘅一首歌謠啦。咁因為我唔清楚個明確個旋律啦，同埋呢個可能有啲阿依路語會讀錯咗啦。咁我就我盡量讀翻啱佢啦。係咁就係話基本上就講到嚟呢度，咁就而家開始讀啦。咁因為我呢個譯本係英文啦，咁所以就係咯，都係會讀翻英文嘅。咁就係咁多。好，咁就而家開始讀啦。Silver drops fall all around, golden drops fall all around. I sang as I glided above the stream and over a village, and as I passed and gazed down, those who have been poor now those who have been poor had become rich, and those who had been rich were now poor, it seemed. On the beach, human children were playing with toy arrows and toy bows. Silver drops fall all around, golden drops fall all around. I sang as I flew over the children, and they ran below me and said, "Oh, beautiful bird, oh, divine bird, let's shoot arrows at that bird. The one who hits the divine bird, the one who gets it first, is a true hero, a true champion." ちょっと待ってね。So saying, the children of those who had been poor and were now rich, putting gold arrows to their gold bows, shot at me in turn with their gold arrows, which I caused to pass below me and above me. In the middle of that group, one particular boy moved among them. With only an ordinary bow and ordinary arrows, he seemed to be from a poor family. I could tell from his clothes, but from his eyes, I understood that he was descended from noble ancestors. Out of place in such company, he too took his ordinary bow and ordinary arrows and aimed at me. And the children of those who had been poor and were now rich laughed loudly and said, "You filthy pauper, that bird, the divine bird which would not take our golden arrows, do you seriously think it would touch some peasant's ordinary arrows, like your arrows of rotten wood?" So saying, they kicked the poor urchin and beat him. However, the boy ignored them completely and took aim at me. Seeing this, I was filled with pity for him. Silver drops fall all around, golden drops fall all around. I sang as in the sky I threw in slow circles. The boy, taking up an archer's stance, biting his lower lip, took aim and loosened the bow. The little arrow flew well. It reached me, and with my hand I reached out and received that little arrow. I spiraled downward. The arrow rushing past me, I plummeted to the ground. Then the boys came running, raising a blizzard of dust as they raised each other. As I touched the ground, the poor boy reached me first and gathered me up, and those who had been poor but were now rich came running after him, heaping on him innumerable insults, pushing him and hitting him. "You nasty brat, you little jerk. We were about to do that ourselves, and you cut it in front of us," they said as the poor boy covered me under his clothes and fastened me against his body. After a bitter struggle, he found a gap in the crowd, jumped through it, and made his escape. Those who had been poor but were now rich threw stones and bits of wood, but the boy ignored them, and raising a blizzard of dust as he ran until he arrived at a little house. He put me in at the east window, and then, with well-chosen words, fluently told his tale. From inside the house, an old couple came along, raising their hands up over their eyes. To look at them, they were obviously terribly poor, yet had a gentlemanly and ladylike quality. They were startled to see me and bowed deeply, respectfully, and adjusting their sashes. They petitioned me thus: "O great owl god, you favored us by appearing at the inadequate head of mere peasants. Accept our thanks. Once we were counted among the wealthy and great, and although now we are reduced to these straits, mere paupers, in times past the local gods often graced our homes with their presence. Therefore, as today's sun has already gone down, tonight allow us to shelter you, great god. Though tomorrow we can offer you nothing more than any now." And with such pleas they beseech me time and time again. Then the old couple, spreading a carpet there, placed me by the east window. Then everyone laid down, and soon, with resounding snores, they all fell asleep. I sat there between the ears of my earthly body. But before long, when midnight came, I arose, Silver drops fall all around, golden drops fall all around. I sang quietly. As from the left side of the house to the right, with beautiful sounds I threw. As I beat my wings around me, exquisite jewels fell, the divine jewels making lovely sounds as they scattered around. In a moment, that little house was filled with magnificent treasures, with divine treasures. Silver drops fall all around, golden drops fall all around. I sang in one moment, I made that little house into a house of gold. I remade it into a manor, storehouse of magnificent jewels. I quickly transformed it into a house adorned with the beauty of magnificent clothes, far more splendidly than the house of our Lord. I decorated the interior of this mansion. When I had finished, I went back and said, just as before, between the ears of the body I wore, I caused people in the house to dream. About the Ainu Nispa, and how their luck had failed, and the people had been poor but were now rich, laughed at them and tormented them, and how I, seeing that, pitied them. And as I'm no mere wicked spirit, I came to their human house, and stayed and granted them my blessing. Of these things I informed them. When that was done, the night gave way to dawn, and the people in the house all got up, and they all saw the inside of the house and rubbed their eyes, and fainted near lifeless to the floor. The old woman cried loudly, and the old man spilled large tears one after another. But before long they brought themselves before me, and with innumerable prostrations they spoke thus. We thought that we're merely dreamed, that we merely slept, but in fact, you're doing this all for us. At our humble rustic dwellings, merely by appearing, you greatly favored us, the great lord of land, and then you condescended to take pity on our ill luck, piling upon blessing another still greater. Speaking through their tears, they addressed me, and then, cutting some wood for an inao, the old couple made a charming new inao and adorned me with it. The old lady made new clothes, the boy helped gathering wood, drawing water, and preparing sake. He made preparations, and in a moment 6 barrels of sake were lined up before the high seat. Then I called the old hearth goddess, and spoke with various gods. 2 days passed, and already the scent of sake, a particular favorite of the gods, drifted in the air. Then I made the boy resume his disheveled appearance and put on his old clothes, and I sent him through the village to give invitations to those who have been poor and were now rich. He entered every house and proclaimed my message, and those who had been poor were now rich laughed hugely. Well, this is a wonder. The paupers have got some sort of sake, scraped together some sort of feast, and looked like they're going to invite everyone. We should go and have a look at their feeble efforts. It would be for a good laugh. So, seeing amongst themselves, they gathered in a crowd, and along they came, gathered from miles around, just seeing the house. They were so shocked that some instantly returned home, while others got quite close before collapsing, stunned, on the ground. And then the old wife went outside and took their hands and led everyone into the house, but they crawled abjectly along the ground, and not one of them would lift up his face. Then the old husband made his appearance, and in a voice as clear as a cuckoo's he spoke. He spoke of many things. When we were poor, it was impossible for us to come and go freely like this, but the great God took pity on us because we entertained no wicked thoughts, and therefore we were blessed. From now on, to all the village, we will be like family. We'll let bygones be bygones, and everyone who wishes may visit us freely. This speech he set forth, and the people, humbly wringing their hands again and again, apologized for their ill treatment, and from now on, they all declared they would live as friends. Everyone joined in worshipping me. When that was finished, everyone with a glad heart began the luxurious banquet. While chatting with the fire goddess and the house god, the old goddess of the household altar, I watched them dancing their human dances and leaping about. An amusing sight I found it. In this way, 2 or 3 days passed and the party ended. Seeing that good relation prevailed among the humans, I was contented and took my leave of the fire goddess, the house god, and the goddess of the altar. When that was done, I went back to my own house. By the time I got home, my house was full of lovely inao and the best sake. Then I sent messengers to all the gods both near and far, and invited them to a bountiful banquet. And furthermore, to all the gods, I told the tale of the time I visited the human village, and of the situation there and everything that happened. And they heaped praise on me. When they went home, I gave each 2 or even 3 beautiful inao. Looking at the people of that Ainu village, now all at peace, and the people all living in harmony, and Nispa, once again, at the head of the village, I see that boy, now already grown up, with a wife of his own and a child too, who respects both his father and mother, and from now on, forever, when he has made sake, or, well, at the start of the banquet, he sends me inao and sake. I watch over the people forever. I protect the world of humans. Such was the tale the all God told. 係咁第一段呢就係咁樣啦。咁就我見到好似有閣下喺度呢個瞌緊眼瞓啦，咁係一件好事嚟嘅。咁就係啦，都因為始終呢個係第一次做㗎啦，咁就如果唔會太嘈大家就好啦。係啦，咁咧跟住落嚟咧就其實基本上都差唔多噶，咁我哋就呢個我講喺前面我較大少少多陣，咁樣會好啲。係唔該摩拉閣下，咁就呢個唔憂閣下你好，咁而家咁樣係咪好啲？而家應該好啲我諗，咁我揭翻去應該第二個居然我稍微即係呢個再搞搞先，應該冇問題嘅。我諗而家呢個 setting 嘅話係係咁，跟住嚟呢個咧就係一個好悲慘嘅一個歌謠啦。就因為呢個雖然係青蛙啦，但係就好遺憾地咧係呢個一個非常之悲傷嘅一個青蛙嘅神謠啦。咁就大家可以繼續聽下嘅，咁就亦都可以同我一齊感受下呢個俾呢個神謠最後一刻衝擊嘅我嘅感受啦。係就係咁樣啦。係咁跟住嚟嘅呢個咧就係由青蛙唱嘅歌啦。Tororo hanrok. One day, as I was hopping over the plains, as I amused myself, what should I see but a house? So I went to the door and peeped in, and in the house the dice were piled with treasures, and on the dice there was a young man who was bent over, carefully whittling a sheath or knife. So I thought,木星先生晚安，so I thought I'd play a little trick on him, and I came and sat on the threshold and bellowed. 死啦！我啱啱而家先發現，個 chat 個大細，等一陣先。等陣先，各位，我想瞄mic先，我搞嗰個 chat。搞掂咗，咁就由頭嚟過啦。咁Tororo hanrok. One day, as I was hopping over the plains, as I amused myself, what should I see but a house? So I went to the door and peeped in, and in the house the dice was piled with treasures, and on the dice there was a young man who was bent over, carefully whittling a sheath or a knife. So I thought I'd play a little trick on him, and I came and sat on the threshold and bellowed, Tororo hanrok. But the young man just lifted up his knife hand and looked at me and chuckled. Do I hear a solemn recitation? Or do I hear a joyful ditty? If only I could hear more. So I was quite pleased, and once more I bellowed. 應該 bellowed 算啦。Tororo hanrok. At which the young man said, Do I hear you sing a yugar, or do I hear a sakiho? How I wish I could hear that from up close up. So I was rather flattered, and I hopped up onto the lower seat by the hearth, and I bellowed, Tororo hanrok. And the young man said, Do I hear you sing a noble yugar, or do I hear a boisterous sakiho? How I wish I could hear it from even closer. So I was overjoyed, and I hopped up to the high seat where I bellowed, Tororo hanrok, when suddenly, wham, he jumped up, brandishing a big burning stick from the fire, hurled it at me. There was a horrible sort of crunch, and that was when I lost consciousness. When I came to, there was a big rubbish pile, and on the very top was laying a big fat dead frog. And I was sitting between its ears. Now that I think of it, what I thought was an ordinary house was actually that of Okikirimuri, godlike in strength. And I had tried to play the trick, not realizing that it was Okikirumi himself. And now I die a pointless death, a horrible death. And therefore, frogs of the future, without fail, refrain from taunting humans. So said a fat frog, and then expired. 係咁呢個就係一個作死嘅小青蛙嘅一個故仔啦。萬頭講下晚啦，係咁就呢個可以再讀多一個比較長少少嘅就停啦。係 跟住嚟呢個咧就係、我首先手尾又多，一陣我諗下揀邊個好先。係咁，跟住嚟呢個咧就係、水刷唱嘅歌啦。水刷係即係嗰個即係嗰個叫咩部首咧？嗰、個獵人嗰個獵嗰個部首，然後再加爛嗰個嗰隻生物啦，就嗰隻好可愛嘅生物啦，即係呢個好似Benedict Cumberbatch 嗰隻好可愛嘅生物啦，就係咁樣。咁咧跟住呢個嘅神謠咧，就係由開刷唔係水刷去唱噶。以上係。カバレルカバ。One day when I went for a swim along the stream, I swam down to the place where Samayunkar draws water, and along came Samayunkar's little sister, looking as beautiful as a goddess, holding a bucket in one hand and in the other a bundle of rushes. So putting just my head out at the edge of the river, I said, "Have you a father? Have you a mother?" The startled maiden turned her eyes this way and that until he found me. The color of anger appeared in her face. "Oh, horrible flathead, bad flathead, is showing no respect. Dogs, get him!" she said, and a pack of huge dogs came rushing up, clashing their fangs. When they saw me, I was surprised and I dove to the bottom of the river. I fled to the very bed of the river. Later, I came to where Okikamui draws water, and putting my head out at the mouth of the river, I saw Okikamui有啲難讀 little sister, as beautiful as a goddess, with a bucket in one hand and in the other a bundle of rushes, and I said, "Have you a father? Have you a mother?" The startled maiden turned her eyes this way and that until she found me. The color of anger appeared in her face. "Oh, horrible flathead, bad flathead, is showing no respect. Dogs, get him!" she said, and a pack of huge dogs rushed at me. Seeing that, I remembered what had happened just recently. With a scornful laugh, I dived into the river. To make my escape, I had no idea that the dogs would do exactly the same thing, but clashing their fangs as they chased me to the very bottom of the river. They dragged me back up to the shore. They ripped me with their teeth. They tore me with their teeth. And in the end, I lost consciousness. When I came to, I was sitting between the ears of a big otter. I had mocked Samayunkar and Okikirumui, knowing that they had neither father or mother, and my punishment was to be killed by Okikirumui's dogs, to die upon his death, a horrible death. Others of the future, take care to behave yourself, so said the other. 係咁基本上咧，就我諗大概去到呢度先啦。咁始終即係我都唔敢開太耐，同埋呢個其實我開頭之前都呢個有少少想瞓啦。咁就咁就今日就嚟到嚟呢度先。咁就係咁就一個真係，如果仲有閣下呢個未醒嘅話咧，唔係未瞓嘅話咧，就三尾做一個小小嘅公告啦。咁就本來應該係原定聽日舉行嘅歌會咧，就因為 有啲事咧，咁就稍微呢個延遲咗咧，就去後日嘅，咁亦都即係8月4號啦。咁基本上歌嘅話咧就定好晒，咁就到時就睇下大家可唔可以喺個歌單嗰度就睇下佢有冇即係第一個字嗰度可唔可以估到我準備唱邊首歌啦。咁就係啦，就希望唔會呢個令到各位閣下爆耳啦。咁基本上咧要講嘅就去到呢度啦。咁就如果瞓着咗嘅閣下咧就瞓啦。係啊，咁就就係咁咯。咁就如果各位閣下即係中意類似呢啲內容嘅話咧，咁我就可能真係再遲啲，可能再間唔中就搞一搞呢啲睡眠導入嘅導讀啦。咁就呢個如果中意我個 channel 咧，就可以可以訂閱啦。咁亦都可以喺下面啲 links 嗰度就 follow 我個 Twitter 嘅。咁咧如果即係中意呢個點講好咧？覺得我嘅內容值得你去呢個課金嘅話咧，就可以去呢個 Ko-fi 度課金嘅。咁咧基本上而家暫時 Ko-fi 有嘅donations 咧，基本上都會用去呢個 issue， 基本上都會用去用去幫不斷軍退休嘅。咁咧就如果想知道其他呢個點解會係Maman嘅其他嘢嘅話咧，咁就可以喺呢個description 嗰度咧都可以再揾到Maman其他關於Maman嘅資訊嘅。咁咧今晚就呢個時日不早啦，咁就祝大家就發個好夢。咁就我就嚟到呢度先，就晚安。